Hey, what's up? This your boy Big Man. You already know what it is, man. So let's get right to it. Okay, so today we're going to talk about Gunna. Now, have you guys been seeing what's going on with Gunna lately? Like, there's a lot of rumors out here about Gunna. And specifically, they're saying he wants to leave YSL. Now, ever since the whole YSL RICO indictment has came down, it seems like Gunna obviously is going to be one of the main topics of discussion because he is one of the biggest artists within YSL. So everybody has been looking at Gunna's each and every move. A lot of people called early that Gunna was going to find an easy way out. Because of his history with a Crime Stopper documentary that he was on or a Crime Stopper video in the local Atlanta, people thought, okay, if things get tough, Gunna would be the first one to jump ship. Now, depending on how you look at the situation, Gunna took an Alfred plea deal, which let him go home free pretty much. He left jail and went straight home, right? And the conditions of his plea deal, he has to be on probation for 5 years. So he's still got to walk on eggshells for like 5 years or whatnot. But compared to what Young Thug is facing, Gunna's situation in this RICO indictment is pretty much over, man. Now, the crazy part about it is Gunna's involvement and the charges he was looking at weren't that big to begin with, you know, in the scheme of things. Like, compared to everybody else in the case, he only had one charge or one count against him. So when he took the Alfred plea deal, everybody automatically called him a snitch. Now with the YSL Woody tape out there, you kind of get an idea of what a real snitch might be. You know, people are calling YSL Woody a snitch and saying that he's an informant, and there's proof to back that up by video, you know? With Gunna, the thing that hurt him is when the video dropped to him in the courtroom basically agreeing that YSL was a gang. That pretty much destroyed Young Thug's case. Him and the other guys who did that, they pretty much threw Young Thug under the bus, is what most people are saying. But what's wilder is, it seems like since he's been free, he's been kind of weird about this situation. He's been acting like he didn't tell on anybody. He's been pretty much showing his full support for YSL on social media, but he's also been very, very quiet. You know, he's maybe one or two posts max since he's been released, right? And you would think he would be out celebrating and stuff like that. But nah, that's not the case. Now, what's even crazier is these reports that are saying that he's going to be leaving YSL anyway and signing his own independent deal to Atlantic Records. So before we break down that story and get to the specifics, do me a favor. Make sure you hit that like button, make sure you hit that subscribe button, and man, let's get it. So it seems like Gunna is in an island by himself. He's in a situation where the fans are kind of fickle. Some fans don't care about street stuff. They don't care about this YSL RICO indictment. They don't care about none of that. All they care about is good music. So he has the possibility of coming back into the music game and actually doing big things, right? Actually continuing on doing hits and making hot music for the fans, right? But you've got a whole big section of fans that are hip hop fans that don't like snitching, that are into the street stuff, and that's why they gravitate to rap, you know what I mean? So it's like 50-50 almost. Maybe it's even 60-40 because there's more people who are in it for more of the music than there are who care about the street stuff. So let's be real. But with Gunna's situation, it looks bad because people from YSL, like YSL Mondo, have come out to speak against him. People like Lil Gotit have come out and said things about him. So it seems like, man, he's a man on an island by himself. So maybe that's what led him to make a decision for his career to just move on from this whole YSL thing anyway. Now, I'll say this. When he first got released, his first post about YSL was in support. He was saying things like, yo, rest in peace, Lil Keed. What up, Lil Gotit, you my brother, and all this. And he received backlash. So maybe that's what's leading him to do some of the things he's doing recently. You know what I mean? Like, there's one report that was put out there by his lawyer where his lawyer came out and defended him again and basically said that Gunna is no snitch. Now, recently, since the YSL Woody tapes came out, you had Gunna's lawyers go to social media, and this is a response to an article about how Gunna has been receiving backlash in the hip hop community compared to what YSL Woody did. You know what I mean? Now, in quotes, you see it says this. It says, Gunna, and this is Gunna's lawyer speaking. He said, Gunna has never been interviewed by or cooperated with law enforcement or prosecutors in the RICO case, nor have his attorneys proffered information on his behalf. So basically saying that Gunna hasn't actually did an interview with the law enforcement. Like he hasn't done anything as far as, you know what I mean, working with them and giving them information. Yes, we did see him take the plea deal, the Alfred plea deal that he took, but he hasn't provided any information or anything like that. So he continues by saying, what was said at his Alfred plea hearing was solely to resolve his own case. It cannot be used by prosecution against Young Thug or any other defendant. Now, there's been some debate about that. Like, a lot of people have been saying that that's not true. Like, Gunna can be pulled into this to testify if they want him to. And his lawyer is saying that they can't. So, you know, it puts everybody in the middle. I know there's some legal experts who have talked about this and have said, yeah, it's a possibility, but he has an opportunity to plead the fifth. So it's a weird situation. It seems like Gunna is definitely a man on an island by himself, as I said before. And dude, just, man, it seemed like him moving on might be his best move, because what is he going to do at YSL now? When everybody at YSL is looking at you like you a snitch, and you one of the hottest rappers in the game, and some of the fans, majority of fans, don't care about any of that snitching, street rule, none of that stuff. You know what I'm saying? So, man, let's actually look at this article that talks about some of the rumors that are out there about Gunna. So it's basically talking about the fact that Gunna might be moving on from YSL and actually moving on to some other label or signing to Atlantic as a solo artist, so that way he can pursue his musical dreams and carry on his life. So, man, let's actually look at this article real quick. All right, so you see that headline right there. It says, Gunna is reportedly leaving YSL after taking plea deal and will reportedly sign with Atlantic Records. Now, Atlantic Records is home to a lot of rappers. You know what I'm saying? A lot of rappers have been through Atlantic Records. Some have left. But, man, they've given a lot of people their shot. So as an independent artist, they know exactly what to do with Gunna. They know how to market Gunna. They know how to get him right back into that commercial side of things, man. They've helped out a lot of big rappers with their career, right? One of the biggest labels in the game when it comes to solo artists and rap, right? So it would look like he's looking out for himself again, right? Now, Gunna reportedly leaving YSL after taking a plea deal. Now, to be honest, in this situation, and I want to ask you guys honestly, can you blame Gunna for moving on and saying, okay, if Young Thug is already looking like he's going to be doing probably 25 to life or something even worse? Because I just did a story about a guy who was a YSL alleged affiliate who just got 60 and 30. So he had a 60-year sentence, sentenced to 60 years because of the gang enhancement, right? And then his 30 years he has to do in prison. So he has to do a solid 30 in prison, and regardless, he'll have 60 years on probation when he's released, or parole, I should say, right? So it's looking bad for Young Thug, especially when you got people coming out the woodworks like this YSL Woody tape, where you see a guy blatantly telling, like blatantly snitching, like no ifs, ands, or buts about it, putting Young Thug's name out there, putting 44 Savage's name out there, putting 21 Savage's name out there, just putting everybody's name into the case. So it's looking like it's a lose-lose situation. So Gunna, knowing that he's free and he has an opportunity to do better, can you blame him for moving on? I don't know, man. That's a tough one.
Bruh.
That's a tough one, man. Because believe it or not, if you don't like what he did, he still has an opportunity to do what he does in music. So it's like, man, it's up to Gunna and his team to be real, man, to weigh those options. Now, in the story, it continues, or let's just say it starts off by saying this. It says, Gunna was becoming one of the biggest stars in rap. Like, I think at that point when Pushin P came out before they got arrested, yeah, he was definitely one of the biggest stars in rap. I mean, let's be honest, man. 3 #1 albums back to back, Gunna was killing it. Career was on the up and up. The RICO indictment is the worst thing that could have ever happened to Gunna and YSL, and I'll go on record and say that. Now, it looked like 2022 was going to be his year. Not only did Gunna have hit records, but he also had Chloe Bailey by his side. Now, there were rumors he was dating Chloe Bailey, who's going to be the star of a big movie that's supposed to come out this year. So imagine if the RICO case didn't happen. He's dating Chloe Bailey. He's got, hit records here and there. He's probably seeing money all over the place. I can see why he would want that to end. Like, anybody would want to get back on that track and not on the track that he's on with the RICO indictment. But that's not how things worked out. Now, at the start of the summer, Gunna was caught up in a YSL RICO case. He was facing years of prison time. However, Gunna accepted a plea deal and was freed. People accused him of informing on Young Thug. Now, accepting a plea deal and informing are two different things. Being a confidential informant is what you saw YSL Woody allegedly doing. You know what I mean? I don't know if he was a confidential informant, but in the tape, he said that one guy said to him, like, yo, I've known you, we've been working together for 11 years. Like, how do you know this police officer and been working with him for 11 years unless you're a confidential informant? Or maybe, I don't know. That was a weird situation, and a lot of rumors out there about YSL Woody, right? But when it comes to Gunna in this situation, I do think that he was mostly an artist. And even there's been people who have come out and spoke about him, say, yo, and at the end of it, you know, Gunna is not really about all that street stuff. And let's be real. When you see Gunna, you kind of see that, man. You know, like, I never thought Gunna was one of the hardest street dudes out there, to be real with you, you know? Now, the story continues by saying Gunna, as a result, has lost a lot of support. However, he has gained his freedom. This freedom has come at a price. When Gunna was one of the rising stars, he had the support of the industry. Since he has been free, Gunna has dealt with rappers cutting ties with him. Many of the same people he did music with have unfollowed Gunna on social media. In addition, people close to Young Thug have openly said Gunna betrayed Thug. Now, I interviewed YSL Mondo, and he felt the same. He felt like he turned his back on Young Thug and really messed up, you know what I'm saying, their relationship, and really, you know, disrespected Young Thug by taking this plea deal, right? And I've talked to other people who feel the same way, right? But the crazy part about it is the people in the industry, their reaction, it seems like nobody wants to touch him. They kind of want to stay away from him. There's been fake videos that have even been released of Gunna walking around the mall and people following him and calling him a rat and stuff like that. Some guy dropped a video and was outside of Gunna's Maybach truck and basically throwing cheese at the truck. So, you know, there's a big element. I'm not going to say it's the majority, but there's a big element, maybe 30 to 40% of the hip hop game who does care about that street stuff. And when it comes to the artists, a lot of them, their image is based on the street stuff. So they have to care some way. So them socializing with Gunna, who people are perceiving as an informant or a rat or a snitch, and I am not calling them those things because there's obviously a difference between taking a plea deal and those things, right? There's obviously a difference between Gunna and YSL Woody. And what he's feeling right now is a lot of people turning their back on him. Like I said, he's a man on an island by himself. Now, what's a positive is he's built a catalog before this with tons of hits. You know what I'm saying? Even people he's worked with, like Lil Baby, they've unfollowed him on social media. I mean, they've got one of my favorite mixtapes together. But the fact that he dropped those products and they're still in circulation, they're still getting streams and stuff like that, he'll probably be all right on the financial side. I think Gunna, money-wise, he'll be all right. Now, booking shows, that might be out. You know what I'm saying? Like being on the circuit, I mean, you know, the hood club circuit and stuff like that. That's probably out. But other ways of doing things, maybe going to the commercial side of things, is a possibility. It's a possibility. He was already leaning that way before they got locked up. Remember, he was at, what is that called, where they all dress up? And somebody will tell me in the comments, where they all get dressed up in New York and all that. He was at that event. He was gearing towards that way anyway. So it's a possibility. Now, the story ends by saying this. It says Gunna is making news daily for people unfollowing him and withdrawing support for him. But just a year ago, Gunna was one of the game's most promising stars. According to reports, Gunna is looking to salvage his career. Rumors are stating that Gunna is considering leaving Young Thug's YSL Records. In addition, reports say that Gunna has a new label home lined up. These same rumors suggest Gunna will sign with Atlantic Records. Now, that would be crazy. Maybe not. Maybe it's not that crazy. That Gunna signs with Atlantic Records as a solo artist, on a solo deal. Because to be honest, if Young Thug goes down, for all the years that everybody's expecting, there won't be a label there anyways. There won't be anything there anyways at YSL for him to do. Yeah, you'll have artists left there like YSL Mondo, Lil Got It, and a whole bunch of others, and hopefully they can hold the ship up. But man, when it comes to like a premier artist like Gunna's level, man, it's going to be a tough sell because who's really going to work his projects with the same sort of intent and veracity that they were working them before? Because they were pushing Gunna. You don't become that famous and get your songs out there without somebody working on the back end. And maybe, once again, Gunna's looking out for himself. Now, with that, this has been your boy Big Man. Hold on. Y'all tell me what y'all think, man. Is this the right move? Should Gunna say, all right, yo, this is a sinking ship, so let me go ahead and sign a deal with another record label? Or is it a possibility that Gunna should probably try to stick it out with YSL and see where this thing goes with the RICO? Now, with that, this has been your boy Big Man. Do me a favor. Make sure you hit that like button, make sure you hit that subscribe button, and make sure you hit that notification bell so that way you get a notification every time I drop this hot content. And we out of here. Peace.